From our Chicago studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Samana Siddiqui. Our top story tonight. A federal judge in California has blocked President Joe Biden's asylum policy. U.S. District Judge John T. Garr called for reversing the policy requiring asylum seekers to first make an appointment at a port of entry. It also overturned the rule requiring asylum seekers to prove they have already sought legal protection in a third country on their way to the U.S. This policy had been in effect for the past 2 months. By current law, any migrant can apply for asylum in the U.S., whether they present themselves at a legal port of entry or not. A coalition of civil rights groups, including the American Civil Liberties Union, filed a lawsuit. The policies were part of a broader package to prevent illegal border crossings along the U.S.-Mexico border. The judge suspended his order for 2 weeks, pending an appeal in the case. The Justice Department has pledged to launch the appeal. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas says the ruling does not change anything immediately. Former Air Force intelligence official David Grush says he believes the U.S. government is in possession of extraterrestrial objects. Grush testified before the House Committee on National Security, the Border, and Foreign Affairs. He says he knows the exact locations of UAPs, or unexplained anomalous phenomena. A UAP, more commonly known as an unidentified flying object or UFO, is an object that cannot be immediately identified or explained. Grush says some of the objects found contained biological agents he classified as non-human. He also says the U.S. has likely been aware of what he described as non-human activity since the 1930s and that there is a cover-up involved. The Pentagon denies the allegation. More than 100 Democrats in Congress have called on President Joe Biden to enact federal standards to protect workers from extreme heat. The call for federal action comes at a time of record high temperatures. In a letter to Biden, the lawmakers said more than 50 million people are under heat alerts due to a heat wave stretching from Arizona to the Florida coast. Civil society groups estimate extreme heat kills up to 2,000 workers and causes at least 170,000 injuries yearly in the U.S. Several heat-related workplace deaths have already been reported this year. These include the deaths of an electrician and a postal worker in Texas. Both occurred just days after Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed a bill repealing regulations requiring companies to give employees water breaks. Texas leads the state in the number of construction worker fatalities. A University of Texas study found 39% of Texas construction workers are not given rest breaks on the job. U.S. officials will meet members of the Taliban and experts from key Afghan ministries in Qatar's capital, Doha. Topics to be discussed include economic stabilization, fair and dignified treatment of all Afghans, including women and girls, security issues, and combating drug production. Special Representative for Afghanistan Thomas West and Special Representative for Afghan Women, Girls, and Human Rights Rina Amiri will travel to Astana, Kazakhstan, and Doha. In Astana, they will meet with counterparts from Kazakhstan, the Kyrgyz Republic, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan to promote women's economic empowerment in Afghanistan. This group was established in 2015 under former President Barack Obama. It is considered the most important platform for U.S. dialogue with Central Asian states. Jewish settlers stormed Al-Aqsa Mosque on Wednesday in occupied East Jerusalem. An official from the Jerusalem Islamic Waqf says that more than 300 extremists entered the Haram al-Sharif area under Israeli police protection. After the noon prayer, 86 Jewish settlers raided Masjid al-Aqsa. They performed religious rituals in the courtyard. Yehuda Joshua Glick, former Likud party deputy, led the Jewish settlers. The illegal settlers stormed Masjid al-Aqsa, citing the anniversary of the destruction of the Jewish house of worship. Al-Aqsa represents the world's third holiest site for Muslims. Jews call the area the Temple Mount, claiming it was the site of 2 ancient Jewish temples. In related news, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan arranged a meeting Wednesday between Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh. The closed-door meeting was held in Turkey's capital, Ankara. Experts believe Turkey hosting the two Palestinian factions is crucial to advancing the reconciliation process. Erdogan told the leaders dividing the Palestinians serves actors who want to undermine the efforts to resolve the Palestinian conflict. Reconciliation talks between the main Palestinian factions, including Abbas-led Fatah and Hamas, are scheduled for Sunday in Cairo. Hamas said Abbas and Haniyeh agreed at the meeting to make national efforts. Erdogan reiterated Turkey's support for the Palestinian cause and stressed the importance of a two-state solution. He opposed measures aimed at changing the historical status quo of the holy sites, especially the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Islamic Apparel Market to grow by $122 billion by 2030. Details after the break, so stay tuned and we'll be right back. Welcome back. The Islamic apparel market will experience remarkable growth, reaching a staggering $122 billion by 2030. A report by DataBridge Market Research shows companies and individuals interested in this industry will benefit immensely in the coming years. It forecasts the Islamic apparel market, which was a $78 billion industry in 2022, will nearly double by 2030. Rising Muslim populations and growing preference for modest Islamic fashion are expected to drive market growth. Islamic clothing includes abayas, hijabs, prayer suits, burqa, thobes, jubbas, and sportswear. These garments usually are loosely cut and cover the entire body, except for the head, hands, and feet. They often are decorated with intricate embroidery and colorful patterns. Rights group and activists are urging the Indian government to investigate the death of a 5-month-old Rohingya girl in custody. Videos that went viral last week showed Rohingya detainees being tear-gassed at a detention center in Jammu province. The videos also showed the parents being taken in handcuffs for the baby's last rites. It is not known what happened at the center that led to clashes and the baby's death. The Rohingya Human Rights Initiative, an advocacy group, says the girl died after not receiving treatment due to inhaled gas. Kushal Kumar, head of the detention center, claims the baby died due to an illness. Over 200 Rohingya have been detained at the center since April 2021. Daniel Sullivan is director of the U.S.-based organization Refugees International. He says the presence of a child in detention points to a larger flawed policy. Hong Kong is seeking to diversify its financial markets to be more accommodating to Islamic finance. This includes amending laws to create a tax structure for sukuk or Sharia-compliant bonds comparable to that for conventional bonds that involve the use of interest. Hong Kong is making efforts to attract Islamic finance and strengthen its ties with Indonesia and other Southeast Asian countries. This was revealed during Hong Kong's Chief Executive John Lee's week-long visit to Indonesia. He signed 15 memoranda of understanding with Indonesia covering green finance, aerospace, and the promotion of sustainable finance. Pakistan's parliament has approved a new anti-narcotics legislation removing capital punishment for drug traffickers. The maximum punishment for someone convicted of a drug-related crime will be life imprisonment, whereas the minimum will be a 6-month jail term. Pakistan imposed a ban on capital punishment in 2008 in exchange for trade incentives from the European Union. It lifted the 6-year ban on capital punishment after a gun and bomb attack on an army school in northwestern Peshawar city in December 2014. Since then, some 518 convicts have been executed. Currently, there are more than 4,000 people on death row across Pakistan. In February 2021, Pakistan's Supreme Court ruled prisoners with serious mental health problems cannot be executed for their crimes. The Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party government in India has proposed a uniform civil code for all citizens, regardless of religious affiliation. Activists say the introduction of a uniform code would violate religious freedom and fundamental rights. Muslims, Sikhs, and other minorities fear the government could impose Hindu upper caste beliefs on the entire population. The government has defended the proposal, saying it is necessary to promote gender equality and national integration. The unified code would cover a range of issues, including marriage, divorce, inheritance, and adoption. The Law Commission of India, the government's advisory body, is collecting public proposals on the uniform civil law. The Shiromani Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee, the umbrella organization for all Sikh temples, warned the move would violate the special identity of minority communities in India. In an ancient Jordanian city, basalt rock takes shape and becomes a work of art in the hands of Tariq Melkawi. The 41-year-old artist brings the rocks by car from his hometown of Qais to his workshop in Amman. He transforms them into new products with great skill. Melkawi says that he has been doing this work since he was 15. He had started it as a hobby, which has now become his livelihood. Basalt is a type of igneous rock formed by the rapid cooling of lava at or near the Earth's surface. The rock is usually dark-colored, fine-grained, and rich in minerals. Forest fires have destroyed over 202 million acres of forest globally in 10 years. According to Global Forest Watch, the worst forest fires occurred in Australia, Russia, Canada, and the US. The open source forest monitoring web applications report notes that the number of wildfires and the amount of forest land destroyed by them have increased in recent years. That's due to several factors, including climate change, deforestation, and human activities. The report calls for reducing deforestation, managing forests more sustainably, and improving early warning systems. That's all from our Chicago studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Salam and good night.